Have you ever been in a relationship but felt like something wasn't quite right? Ever wondered if you could truly trust her? Or noticed little things that made you question her past, but you couldn't quite put your finger on them? If these questions resonate with you, then this video is your safe space. We're not here to judge. We're here to explore the subtle signs you may have missed. Signs that can help you better understand the woman you're with and protect your heart and soul from unnecessary pain. Today, we'll walk through 10 important signs that may indicate a woman has had multiple partners in the past. Understanding these signs can help you make wise and informed choices about your relationship. In Stoic philosophy, mastering self-control and seeing things clearly are essential values. Recognizing these early signs is the first step in protecting those values and staying grounded in love. So before we dive in, grab yourself a warm glass of water and settle in. Join me through the end of this important video. It just might shift the way you view your current relationship. And if you're ready, hit the like button and comment, "I'm ready," below. This insight might just be the turning point you didn't know you needed. Sign number 1, she's unusually comfortable with physical intimacy. During your first moments of closeness, you might have expected a slow emotional build-up, but instead everything moved fast, passionate, intense, maybe even confusing. If she seems overly confident and comfortable with touch, whether it's initiating hugs, kisses, or even more forward actions, it may hint at past experiences. In similar situations, she might go along with everything effortlessly, even leading you along the way. This could be a sign of emotional familiarity with physical relationships. But remember, this doesn't mean she should be judged. She could simply be naturally expressive and physically open. Your gut may raise a red flag, but it's vital not to rely on one sign alone. Look at the full picture. Only when you connect the dots can you see the truth more clearly. Sometimes that sudden comfort can just mean a strong connection. But if it's paired with other signs, you'll need to be cautious and thoughtful before moving forward. As we discussed earlier, unexpected comfort with physical intimacy can be one thing, but if it's paired with emotional disconnection, it's time to look closer. Sign number 2. She avoids emotional bonding. Emotional connection is vital in helping couples weather life's ups and downs. But if you begin to notice that your partner shows no interest in building this connection, it's important to pause and ask, why is that? Women who've had many relationships in the past may develop emotional distance as a defense mechanism. But how can you spot this? If every time you try to dive into deeper topics, your emotions, dreams, or even the bond between you, she shifts to something light, avoids the subject, or seems uncomfortable, that's a clue. She might change the topic suddenly or act visibly uneasy when emotions come up. When this happens often, it can feel like all your efforts to build a deep, meaningful connection are being brushed aside. That feeling of rejection can make you question whether the relationship is truly mutual. Still, it's not always black and white. She might be holding on to painful memories or past traumas that have led her to put up emotional walls. That doesn't mean she doesn't care, it might just mean she's not ready yet. Before you make any decisions, consider offering her more time and space to open up. You can continue to be supportive and patient, but don't lose yourself in the process. Protecting your own emotional well-being is just as important. Always maintain a balance between loving someone deeply and preserving your own peace. Sign the 3, she shares vague or conflicting stories. Another crucial red flag, inconsistencies in the stories she tells about her past. If your relationship has moved forward, but you still feel like her past is a mystery, or worse, things aren't adding up, it's a reason to pause. She might say one thing today and something else entirely tomorrow. The details might not match. Maybe she once said she had a long-term relationship, but later insists she's never had a serious one. or she recalls a shared hobby that contradicts her current behavior. These discrepancies might suggest she's not being fully transparent, or perhaps trying to keep her past hidden. On the other hand, it could also mean she simply doesn't want to revisit those old chapters, choosing instead to focus on the present. If her vague answers or inconsistencies make you feel uneasy, you need to take that seriously. Your intuition exists for a reason. Don't ignore it. Start by gently and respectfully bringing up the areas that feel unclear to you. If she genuinely values your relationship and wants to build trust, she'll be open to conversation. She'll fill in the blanks, offer clear explanations, and show sincerity, not just through words, but through consistent behavior. But if she continues to dodge your questions, tells conflicting stories, or becomes defensive when asked for clarity, then it could be a sign that she's not fully committed. Of course, you shouldn't rush into conclusions. Relationships take time, patience, and honest communication. Give her space and time to open up. See if her openness grows as your mutual trust deepens. Yet if after a reasonable period things still feel murky, you might need to reassess where you stand in this relationship. Sign number 4. She frequently changes plans at the last minute. Another red flag. She keeps changing or cancelling plans at the last minute. Maybe you've planned a date or blocked time just for the two of you. Everything's set, then suddenly she cancels. Once or twice is understandable. Life happens. But if it happens often with vague or inconsistent excuses, it signals something deeper. She might say there's an unexpected meeting or a surprise visit from an old friend. But when this becomes a pattern and the explanations lack detail, you start to feel like you're no longer a priority. Sure, everyone has responsibilities. She may have a demanding job or a friend in need, but if these last-minute cancellations become habitual, it's time to talk. Communication is essential. Approach her calmly, ask her why plans keep changing, and let her know how it makes you feel unimportant, undervalued. If she truly cares, she'll understand and make adjustments. But if she doesn't, you may need to ask yourself a tough question. Is this relationship really moving forward? Previously, we talked about how sudden cancellations could signal that you're no longer a priority. Now let's shift to something more emotional, being compared to her exes. Sign number 5. She often compares you to her exes. Maintaining a healthy relationship takes mutual commitment. When that commitment fades, especially if comparisons to former partners begin, it's a sign that something is off. A woman with little relationship history usually won't compare you to others because you are all she's ever known. But if she's had multiple past partners, it's likely she may, intentionally or unintentionally, bring them up in comparison to you. These comparisons can be subtle. She might say, "This meal reminds me of one my ex made," or "My ex used to love that activity. You don't?" During arguments, she may even line up your flaws beside those of past lovers. Even if she doesn't mean to hurt you, these comparisons can leave lasting emotional bruises. You might feel inadequate, as if you're competing with shadows. But here's what's crucial to remember: these comparisons are not your fault. People with several past relationships sometimes slip into this habit, but that doesn't mean you have to accept it. Speak up. Let her know that these comparisons make you feel disrespected and undervalued. If she truly values the relationship, she'll recognize the harm and stop. However, if she keeps comparing you to other men, it may signal that she's still emotionally tied to the past. In that case, ending the relationship may be the healthiest option, both for your healing and for her own emotional closure. You are not anyone's replacement. You deserve a relationship where you are valued for exactly who you are. If this has ever happened to you, type "been there" in the comments. You're not alone. Sign number 6. She is extremely secretive about her phone usage. Now, let's talk about a more modern concern: excessive secrecy around phone use. If you notice her phone is always face down, or she quickly changes screens when you glance over, or becomes nervous every time a message or call comes in, you may start to wonder, what's she hiding? Her phone might feel like a sacred object, always clutched tightly, never left unattended. Even in the most intimate moments, she guards it closely. While this isn't definitive proof of anything, it can create deep feelings of unease. If your partner becomes highly guarded about her phone, it might lead you to question her honesty in the relationship. Why does she react so defensively when you ask about it? Why does a simple glance at her screen feel like crossing a line? There could be various reasons. She might still be in touch with someone from her past, or there could be messages and photos she doesn't want you to see. If she snaps back at your concern by saying, "You just don't trust me," you're left in a tough position, hesitant to ask more, but unable to silence the doubt inside. Of course, not everything is suspicious. She might simply value her personal space, or she may have work-related chats or sensitive information she prefers to keep private. Everyone is entitled to a degree of digital privacy, but in a strong, open relationship, there comes a point when nothing needs to be hidden. Not even phone activity. If your suspicions grow and she still refuses to share or explain, you may need to reevaluate the relationship. Take the time to observe and communicate honestly with her about how this secrecy makes you feel. If she truly values your relationship, she'll understand and make an effort to build that trust. But if the secrecy continues and you constantly feel excluded and uneasy, you have every reason to step away before deeper harm is done. Trust and honesty are non-negotiable. You shouldn't have to second-guess love. Sign Worker 7. She is very focused on appearance. Another sign worth paying attention to. She's highly focused on appearances, both hers and yours. Maybe she spends hours doing her makeup, styling her hair, or picking the perfect outfit. She checks herself in mirrors or cameras often and doesn't hesitate to comment on how others look, sometimes praising, sometimes critiquing. Caring about one's appearance is fine. We all want to look good, but when this becomes a dominant focus, it may reveal something deeper, perhaps influenced by past relationships with men who valued looks above all else. This constant attention to image could be her way of seeking validation, of measuring her worth based on outer beauty. Sometimes, she might even compare her looks to her ex's new partner, or to people she sees online or in public. If your partner often brings up conversations centered around appearance, celebrities, beauty trends, who looks better, while rarely engaging in meaningful emotional topics, it may leave you feeling uneasy. When the majority of her conversations revolve around looks and online comparisons, it creates subtle pressure. You might start questioning if your worth in her eyes is tied solely to how you look. It's completely valid to feel concerned. After all, in a loving relationship, connection should go far beyond the surface. If, after a serious talk, she continues to focus only on outer appearances, you must speak up. Clearly express that this makes you uncomfortable. Now, it's true that some people are naturally more appearance-focused. It might not stem from past relationships at all, but regardless, in any healthy relationship, feeling respected, valued, and emotionally connected should always come first. If you feel like you can't openly discuss what bothers you, or you're being emotionally neglected, it might be time to reconsider the future of the relationship. Sign Worker 8. She avoids discussing sexual health. Let's move into a more sensitive but crucial topic: sexual health. If your partner avoids talking about it entirely, this could be a serious red flag. Discussing sexual health isn't just about safety. It's also about building trust, understanding each other's needs, and forming a deeper connection. But if she seems indifferent, dismissive, or avoids the subject altogether, it may suggest she's hiding something. She might fear judgment, be reluctant to talk about her sexual history, or avoid disclosing her contraceptive choices. And yes, if she's had multiple partners before, there could be an increased risk of STDs, something that should be discussed openly. Whatever the reason, silence is not acceptable in a serious relationship. The well-being of both partners depends on clear, honest communication. Let her know you won't accept being kept in the dark on something this important. And if she continues to avoid the topic, it's your right to decide whether this relationship is truly healthy and sustainable. If you bring up the topic and she feels a bit uncomfortable at first but still starts opening up, that's a good sign. It shows she's willing to move past discomfort to build trust with you. But if she reacts by becoming defensive, dodging the topic, or offering vague answers, then it might mean she's hiding something serious. In that case, it's time to take a step back and evaluate the situation carefully. Avoiding this conversation could put both of you at risk, and no relationship can survive without honesty and safety. If she isn't willing to change or face this issue, protecting yourself might be the best decision. You deserve to be in a relationship that offers clarity, trust, and respect, not one built on silence. Sign number 9, she avoids introducing you to her friends. Meeting your partner's friends is a milestone. It's how you start becoming part of her life, her world, and her social circle. But if she constantly avoids this step, making excuses, changing the subject, or dodging the topic, that's something you shouldn't ignore. It may indicate she's keeping a part of her life hidden from you. A woman who's serious about her relationship usually wants to show you off to her friends, include you, and build connections. If that's not happening, and if she's actively steering you away from that part of her life, there might be reasons behind it. For example, she may fear her friends will reveal details from her past, such as previous partners or personal choices she hasn't told you. She may have been involved romantically with someone in her friend group, or she might simply prefer keeping you separate from the world she shares with others. These situations can leave you feeling excluded, unwanted, or undervalued. If that's how you feel, then talk to her calmly and sincerely. Let her know that meeting her friends is important for deepening the relationship. If she continues to refuse or gives you vague excuses, it might mean she's not being fully honest. In some cases, connecting with one of her friends independently may help you gain more clarity. But if after all your efforts, she still insists on keeping you out, then it's time to reconsider your role in her life. Earlier, we explored how being left out of your partner's social circle is painful. But perhaps the most heartbreaking realization is when you're no longer a priority in her life. Sign that 10, her priorities have shifted and you're left behind in a loving relationship. It's natural to make each other a top priority when someone truly matters. We want to spend time with them, care for them, and build a future together. But what happens when you begin to feel like you've fallen off her radar? She starts spending most of her free time with new friends, cancels your plans without a second thought, or becomes deeply involved in activities that no longer include you. Gradually, you begin to feel like a bystander in your own relationship. While it's normal for people to grow and explore new interests, if these shifts become consistent and they happen alongside other warning signs you've already noticed, it might be time to ask yourself a hard question. Is this relationship still right for me? Don't rush to blame her. Instead, reflect. Can I accept this? Can I continue in a relationship where I feel excluded and unimportant? If the answer is no, then perhaps it's time to reevaluate your place in her life. You deserve to feel seen, heard, and valued in love. A healthy relationship includes you, not ignores you. Give it time. Talk things through. But never settle for a relationship that makes you feel like an afterthought. Listen to your intuition. If your gut tells you something's not right, it probably isn't. Final thoughts. If you're seeking something real and long-lasting, choose someone who genuinely values and respects you and wants to build a future together. You are worthy of true love, a love that's honest, loyal, and rooted in respect. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you found this content helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel for more valuable insights. Share in the comments what you took away. From this video, your perspective might help someone else too. We appreciate your time and trust, and we'll see you in the next video.